Welcome back to another episode of the Contentment podcast, where being a man-child and doing hood-rat things with your friends doesn't sound all too bad. As I continue on my never-ending journey of self-improvement, to be a better person than I was yesterday, what better way to do this than with the help of a quote from Socrates? And the quote today is something simple. Contentment is natural wealth. Now, contentment is natural wealth, so they say, right? However, this world would truly have you thinking otherwise. I am also often knocked over the head with cars that look better than mine, houses that are bigger than mine, vacation vlogs to places I want to go. And, don't get me started on social media, like how it's just the algorithms that they have is built for tough, man. It can be very, very beneficial to your mental health if you know how to use it, if you are using it the right way, or very detrimental. Low key, you know what mine is? My what I see on my feeds, cats, because me and my wife have a cat. Cars and how people tune them, the specific cars that I have, so I'm not really hit too much over the head with the Bentleys and shit like that, and music stuff. Like, my shit is love. I can be on that bitch all day, but I do understand that my algorithm and my explore page is different from others. It's based off of what you seek out, and I purposely try not to seek out those things because I would like to stay content in what I'm doing. If you're constantly seeing what you see, it's impossible. But and when you're seeing that stuff, or you're around overachievers, or you have them in your life, and it's hard not to feel a certain way. Like, I'm only human. Like, it's going to happen. I fall subject to the feelings of envy, and you're human. There's nothing wrong with being envious. It's all about if you're acting on that enviousness. Did I say that right? If you're acting on that, and even if you're acting on it, is it a positive thing or is it a negative thing? Like, you're only human. Sometimes you will act on it, but what do you do? Does it light a fire under your ass to do something? Or do you do something like, I'm gonna go rob that motherfucker? Envy, But I have feelings. I do fall subject to feelings of envy, or feeling like I'm not doing enough in my life to achieve these things that I see, or dreams that I've always, those dreams of like, oh, when I get older, I'm gonna have a big house, I'm gonna be driving this, I'm gonna be making this, amount of money. You're saying these things when you don't know how the world works. And then when you get out there and you see how the world works, you're like, well, damn, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else getting it. How are they getting it? You're not content because you see that it's possible, right? You know that it's possible because you see it. Or so you think you see it. Could be all smoke and mirrors. Once again, social media. You know what? Conspiracy theory West time. I think some of this shit is all a ploy to get us to be consumers, stay consumers, continue to spend money, and keep the capitalist idea and values alive, and to keep things going. That's how I feel sometimes. Because if you was truly content, would you even worry about any of that shit? You got a house, you got a place to live. You can pay your bills, you can live comfortably. It's outside the living comfortably or actually having shelter and food where it gets tricky. You want to be entertained. You want to enjoying the fruits of your labor have changed since from 100 years ago. Enjoying the fruits of your labor was more or less like, yo, I labored, crops are growing, I'm enjoying that because I get to eat and live another day. Now that most of us aren't farming and hunting for our food and stuff like that, it's like enjoying the fruits of your labor now means like, yo, I got to go to a concert, I got to buy these shoes, I was able to take a vacation, enjoying the fruits of your labor. I'm definitely not saying don't do that. Definitely enjoy the fruits of your labor, but is there a limit to what certain people can do? Is there a baseline? Should everyone have a baseline? Nonetheless, we getting off of spending and shit in capitalism. Being content or having contentment seems to be an impossible thing to master in this country. In a sense, not being content does allow for that determination to set in to achieve those things, like I was just saying, like the vacations and stuff like that, or whatever have you, or just a better lifestyle. Like it allows you to it allows determination to set in to accomplish goals, put yourself in better situations, be a good, outstanding member of society, be something to look up to, all those things, right? There is some positiveness in not being content. But if you are content, sometimes that none of that, it doesn't allow for any of that stuff to happen. And you don't feel that, you don't get that feeling, like I guess you don't get that feeling of worth. I'm not saying me. No, I am saying me, because I have had those moments where it's just like, yo, what am I doing? Like, society glamorizes or rewards like the things like money, possessions and lifestyle. So you content. Sometimes you're not reaching that tier where people begin to, see you and treat you differently. It's weird. I wish it wasn't like that. And I'll be lying if a part of me, if I said a part of me doesn't actually look at that stuff sometimes to, dare I say, not emulate, but just like, yo, what is that really like? And there's been times where I reached a certain threshold, I'm like, oh, this shit ain't shit. And then I go back to like I go back to like my personal regularly scheduled programming. Like, for an example, like as I got older, and started working and making my own money, the coveted thing to do in high school was like, yo, how was your shoes? What shoes did you get? Did you get the new Nikes? Did you get the new J's? This and that, blah, blah, blah. It meant something in school. So I get outside of school, I'm able to do that. It means nothing to me now. So it's like that type of contentment. Like, what if I was still ruled by, like, I gotta do this because I never know who'll see me? And it's just like, no one sees me. Not in a bad way, but just like, I'm an adult that doesn't move like that. And even before I was married, the type of woman I wanted to attract, or the type of circle I wanted to attract, they didn't give a shit about that anyway. Yeah, your shoes had to be clean and shit like that. They couldn't just be anything, but yeah, they're not really checking if it's the newest. Or maybe they were. I don't really care. But however, I do believe this is where the quote touches home for me, and hopefully many others. Like, being able to get to a point where you are content with where you're at, or maybe the limit that you can reach when it comes to society, and definitely when it comes to when it comes to society, because it ultimately affects your mental health. It affects your well-being. So in this, I never really thought about contentment, right? And there's still some things I have a hard time with being content about. Like, yo, like, maybe you should just this should be your baseline and you move on to something else, or this is you. This is you. This is what you're gonna be. And then I struggle with well, motherfucker, you got one life to live. Why live the life of thinking that if you could have, would have, should have, like, where would you be? So for me, that's a daily internal struggle where sometimes it affects me externally. Like, college graduate, sometimes I think like, yo, how far do I go, or how far do I reach in my profession before I start to cruise control? Am I allowed to cruise control? And then inflation happened, and I'm like, I definitely can't. It's weird because society has forced me not to be content because of, like, I got to a certain point and I'm like, oh, okay. And then it was like, that point's not good enough anymore, especially for where I live. And I'm not saying money is everything, but money is a great tool to have for comfort. And I typically try to spend the money on comfort more than anything. Like, when I say comfort, I mean like making sure that, you know, when I'm at home, the flow of my home and my life is good. It's an easy flow. And what I mean by that, like, simple shit like, yo, a wine fridge by my coffee bar and shit like that. Like, what am I really working towards? I do stuff like maintaining the house or doing things to improve more than I treat myself traditionally like I used to, like with shoes or video games and stuff like that. So in a sense, I reached a level of contentment in certain parts of my life. But the one thing that I haven't figured out yet is my career. And yeah, there's the parody of like, yo, career, money, but it's more or less the ability to earn the money when I need to earn the money, and less about I need to earn the money now, if that makes any sense. I want to be in a situation and have myself set up where it's like, yo, if I needed to, I can. And I think I'm there. However, in order for certain comforts to happen, kind of need a little bit more money. So for me, the contentment that I struggle with is not for possessions and not necessarily lifestyle, because it doesn't come with the possessions or the lifestyle that you would get with possessions. It comes with the, yo, my 401k is straight. I got enough money in the bank for an emergency. Short, random, unexpected emergencies won't hurt me. And I'm eating good food. When I say good food, non-processed food, all that shit costs a lot of money. And that's what I mean by like comfortable and lifestyle. And like, what the fuck am I working for if I can't even have that? So there's a lot of shit I kind of just put to the side. Like, yeah, sure, I want a pair of Prada America's cups. The shits look nice. I will get them. However, there are things that are first on that list. I am content without having them until all these things are met. I'm content without ever having them if I actually come home, live a comfortable life, and feel good. I learned at an early age. I learned in my early 20s that, like, those things don't make you feel good when you're sad or when you're depressed, because I went through a moment of that. So, not a huge moment, but, you know, college, you know, shit changing, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I went through moments of that. So, hell yeah, contentment is natural wealth. However, don't be content in everything. Be content in the mindset, your goals. Be practical. Don't join the rat race. You know, I ain't gonna say go with the program. I'm not gonna say go with the flow, but be true to yourself, and you will find the flow. On that note, thank everybody for tuning in. Be content. Don't keep up with the Joneses. See you next time.